Yeah, it does.
I'm waiting for something to burst through the wall. Like, we need to have a discussion. We need to do like a podcast where we talk about which is the better Jumanji, the one with Robin Williams or the new ones.
Well, they're connected a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, to me, like Jumanji, I think of Robin Williams. The new ones are great, but man, I don't know. There's something about those old Jumanjis.
It's because it's nostalgia.
Yeah, it's true. That was my childhood, so now I'm all old.
But also, we can't talk about that because this is a Star Wars podcast.
Right. I mean, yeah. Why don't we have a Star Wars Jumanji? Why isn't there a Star Wars based? Like, a bunch of Ewoks come out of a board game.
Hey, what's up with
what's going on there?
What's going on?
What's going on, Darth Kindar?
I don't know.
Nothing.
I dig that picture.
It's muted. So, what's going on, guys?
Not much. What's going on with you?
I'm ready for this Star Wars podcast.
I mean,
Like
at least
every week. This is like something I look forward to. For
two
sure.
of us are ready. So
Yeah.
What you mean? I'm ready.
I don't know what's going on below us.
Maybe at some point. He'll be ready at some point.
Yeah, he'll get with us. It's fine. We'll start talking about episode 8. That'll drag him in.
Okay,
So-
let's start with looking at our background here. We got some Hoth going on. I
Some
thought that
Hoth?
would be nice. Have some Hoth. Yeah, you can't tell because you're covering up.
I'm covering up the
Luke on
tauntaun.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I wish it was snowing right now.
I don't. As someone who has to carry mail for a living, I don't.
Well,
So
I understand that.
yeah,
but
I don't
I
enjoy it
prefer-
when it snows, especially in the state that we live in. People don't drive well all the time when it snows, and the LOVs were not made for snow. So no.
Well, one good thing about summertime is
Sonic.
our sponsor,
Half
Sonic.
price drinks.
Yeah, I just got one like an hour ago. I've been trying to nurse it so I could have for the podcast though.
I came home from work, after sweating my butt off in that LOV all day, and the wife and kids all had Sonic cups, and I'm like, bro, where's my Sonic cup?
And they
Like,
didn't bring you one?
no, they didn't. Like, no, don't bring the guy who's actually in the 120-degree truck a Sonic drink. But
They're like,
you're
you're used to it.
yeah, I am used to it. I am. I think they've done it 2 days in a row and haven't brought me one, guys.
Well, thank you, Sonic.
Yeah, thanks Sonic for sponsoring this podcast. Appreciate it. And use the app. Half price anytime.
Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime. Does that include shakes? Or is it just
Uh,
drinks?
They have days that it's half price shakes.
Okay. Dude, I'd love me a
if-
chocolate shake.
If you do the text thing or the app, they actually have like, I think last week I got one that was half price Oreo Blast of any size. So that was pretty cool. Because I
Can't go wrong with ice cream when it's hot outside.
No, you cannot.
sure.
Can't go wrong with
Not at all.
slushes either.
Ace, I think I have that exact same suit. Or Darth Kindar, I'm sorry. I think I have that exact same suit. I don't have a picture of it to verify, but we need to do a who
Somehow-
wore better.
I don't think you wearing a white suit would work with your complexion.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but I feel like I could pull off
I think
anything.
you pull it off, bro.
Thank
You
you.
gotta do it.
Thank you,
I don't
Darth
think,
Kindar.
I don't think you could.
Well, you know
The
what?
only way to find out is for him to do it. Do it at Easter.
True. That's true. I don't
pull it
actually
off.
own one, but I need to go find one so that we can wear them on the same day.
Hey, that'll
You
work.
see, I see you wearing more like the orange or the baby blue from Dumb and Dumber. That makes
Dude,
more
I
sense to
would
me.
rock that. I do want to show this though. My wife and kids did get me this, and yeah,
Yeah, let's bring that up.
yeah, guys, come on. I mean, really,
I like that.
yeah,
That is a good one.
yeah. So it's been a good week.
I forgot my cup. I left my cup in the other room.
Oh, Jared,
So
or Jared has spoken. Can I call you has spoken today?
sure. I just did that because I have spoken.
I have spoken.
I love that shirt.
I have
It's a
spoken.
good shirt. Okay, so real quick, we are the Marauders. This is a Star Wars podcast. We talk about anything we can find, and then some. Sometimes just depends.
right.
But we love Star Wars. We love talking with each other. We talk about Star Wars when we're not on this. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Hope you're watching every Thursday, 7:30. And let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. The ones that are here, introduce ourselves.
Oh, yep, it's me. I'm not used to being first. So I'm Shane. I am the lore whisperer. If you have a lore related question, a need, a comment, or you just need to know some truth, because I'm not pointing any fingers, but some people don't know their lore very well. So if you need someone that's really going to tell you how it is, yeah, come to the lore whisperer. I got your back. Got your back.
Ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, I'm Darth Kendar, aka Ace Kennedy. I'm here for you.
What?
Ooh, what's going on?
Oh. I mean, just stream over, guys.
Okay, that's not fair. I'm out.
Stream over.
I'm done.
I had no warning. You know what? I'm done too.
There's nothing fair about that.
Yeah,
You know?
he did not warn me. And my
No.
Darth Revan saber is not in yet. So I'm really butthurt about that.
All right, I gotta get up. This mask is hot.
Is that a what lightsaber is that, Ace?
It's actually my it's my custom that I had built at Ultra Sabers, which is not a sponsor of the Marauders, but if they would like
But
to,
if they
they can.
want.
But yeah,
They make some sick lightsabers.
Yeah, the sound on it is premium. The weight, everything is super dope. But
It's all steel, right? Or it's all metal casings and all that.
it's metal. It's got I put the medium blade on it, so it's capable of light sparring, but it's got a nice little it's got a nice sound. It's got the light on it is good. So yeah, I really love it.
I have the
You
I
can
have
show us
Luke-
once you get your mask off, because I actually want to show people the close up of it.
yeah, I have Luke's lightsaber, and the audio does not sound that well. I mean, that it's not that quality. I heard that the other day, and the audio quality on that is so good. I'm a
Yeah,
little jealous.
and when it lights up in person, it looks awesome.
I'm
It has
hoping to
a
see it
nice
this weekend.
whoosh to
Yeah,
it.
I want to see it. I did see a video today, since we're on lightsabers. I did see a video today of Darth Revan's lightsaber, and it's got the interchangeable blades and stuff like that. So it got me excited.
Okay, so yeah, here it is. It's
Close up.
like I said, it's got the metal, and what I love is the sides on it. Let me see, you get a little bit more focus. There we go.
He picked such good colors. I mean, the hum, like the audio in that is so good.
And when you go clash,
That's awesome.
Ultra Sabers make some great stuff, man.
I love the design on the hilt too. So
yeah, I absolutely love the saber. Love it, love it, love it.
You did a good job with that one.
Thank you. But anyway, let's talk some Star Wars, fellas.
Barbara,
Okay.
thank you for watching.
What's that?
Barbara, she said she's watching, so I was saying thanks for
Oh.
watching.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Come on, Bonnie.
Sure.
Good
That's
to see
awesome.
you.
So, first thing, talking about our lightsabers, we have Esposito that was talking about the dark saber. You know, everybody's been kind of on him, especially ever since he did his live where he was talking about, like, he was dancing around the words of being force sensitive and stuff without trying to say it.
Yeah, he
And we
basically told us until the Disney lawyers pulled his internet connection. Yeah.
yeah, they knocked him off. But yeah, so he actually had some conversations about the actual dark saber. Does anybody want to talk about that? I can throw some down when you're done.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I mean, just looking at, they were saying that with the dark saber, they're going to answer a bunch of questions about it, like the history of it, because us as Star Wars fans, obviously we know that the dark saber comes from Clone Wars and even Rebels. But some people may not have watched that. Disney Plus might be the first introduction for people who have seen the dark saber, want to know what the origin is. And the thing is that even for those of us that knows about the Clone Wars and Rebels, people want to know, how did he get the dark saber? Because the last time we seen it, Sabine had given it to her mom. So that's where we kind of want to know, how did he get it, And if he is force sensitive, especially because we've heard early reports that there are going to be a ton of lightsaber fights, and we would assume that would be in Ahsoka. And so, we know how bad Ahsoka is. When I say bad, we're talking good, like really, really good. How bad she is with the saber. So that would be like an unreal fight if Carlos Esposito does not know how to use a saber. So it would be interesting to see to get some history on it, because I'm sure even the Mandalorian himself would want to know information about the saber.
And I would actually like to see some fights with Esposito, because he was on, was it Revolution? And he actually, it was a show basically about all electronics not working. And he had some pretty cool sword fights with stuff. So I'd actually like to see him with the lightsaber, and he kind of has that sword look to it. See how that goes.
Yeah, should be interesting. I mean, the saber itself just looks beautiful. The thing is that when we first found out about the Mandalorian, I think one of the things that we were looking forward to a series that necessarily didn't touch on any force sensitive beings, obviously not knowing that we had Baby Yoda in the series. So it's Star Wars, and so when I think Star Wars, I think force sensibility. So it wouldn't bother me to have at least one person that at least dabbles in the force. But yeah, I'm glad that, you know what I'm saying, that we're getting more information about this saber. And let's be real, Disney's about to sell a whole bunch of dark sabers.
A whole bunch of dark sabers. I mean, they're going to sell one over here too. Let's be honest. Like, yeah, sign me up as soon as they open pre-orders. What I'm excited about, two things. I'm super excited that they're going to give us the lore of the dark saber. Obviously, we've seen Clone Wars. I mean, we know some of the history of it, but I'm curious, how deep in the lore are they going to go? Like, I mean, do they go back and reference the Mandalore? Like, how deep of the history of the darksaber did they give us? That's what I'm interested in. I mean, I'll take any lore they want to give me, but they're going to use it to tie into Clone Wars. It's going to probably tie into Ahsoka or something like that. But the thing that I'm really curious about is we know that Ahsoka is short-lived in the series, meaning I don't think she's going to be a regular. So if they do show Esposito fighting and up to Ahsoka's level of fighting with that, like, how does that set up the future of the Mandalorian? Because if she comes and she fights him and she goes, and then he's left with the darksaber, like, where does that put the Mandalorian? Because if they make him strong enough to fight and stay with, or maybe even beat Ahsoka, like, how does the Mandalorian beat him?
I think, to be honest, I think that Moff Gideon, that's Carlos Esposito's character, Moff Gideon may just be the villain for season 2.
Okay.
But what if they are introducing then Boba Fett to come and be the new antagonist for season 3? So maybe Moff Gideon is slain by the end of this series. So by the end of season 2.
And that would make sense to me, because my fear is if you're gonna, and obviously, I mean, I don't want you guys to think I'm being negative here. I'm all about it. But if we're gonna introduce force powers into the Mandalorian, you have a main character who's not a force sensitive. So, like, I mean, if we look at Jedi, and we look at Sith, I mean, I'm not taking any shots at the Mandalorian, but I mean, I feel like most Jedi and most of the more powerful Sith people would be able to beat the Mandalorian in a fight. Like, I'm just being honest.
Right, but you have Baby Yoda.
Right, but I mean, Baby Yoda is not capable of doing a lightsaber battle yet. Now, you want to give me Baby Yoda with a lightsaber? I mean, guys, I'm going to lose my stuff.
But here's the thing, though. Moff Gideon seems to be if I was describing him in the movies, he reminds me of Dooku. Even think back to the Clone Wars, right? Dooku really didn't fight like that. It wasn't until he was up at, like, mostly he sent his cronies to go do the dirty work. And even like Sidious, like, it took Sidious until the 3rd movie before he finally picked up a saber. You know what I'm saying? So once you get older in the Force, it seems like the Sith go away from using their sabers. So I think Moff Gideon, he might have that as his last defense, because even still, he had it the whole time and never used it when they were trying to get all of them out of that when they were barricaded in. So he still relied on his stormtroopers and all of the other infantry to be there to try to use force to get them out of there. He could have went in there the whole time with the saber and just started slicing up some stuff. So I don't think that's when you get to that higher level in rank, you do less fighting. It's more supervisory.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I'm just saying if they don't kill off Gideon and they make him that powerful in the Force, then in future seasons they're gonna have to build one of the hero characters. I mean, to that level. I mean, there's gonna have to be something that can compete with him if Ahsoka's not a mainstay in the series.
See, and this is exactly where I say that if we know about Ahsoka, if we know about Boba Fett, if we know about all these other hinted characters, Sabine, what are they hiding from us?
Exactly.
They hid Baby Yoda. So if Sebastian Stan, who is also a Disney employee, gets cast as Luke Skywalker, and he shows up at the end of season 2 to lead into season 3, because
Stop teasing me.
I'm just saying the short rumor is that they are creating a like a multiverse with these characters. So these characters will be tasked into different projects. And so the thing is we want a young Luke series. We want a Luke Skywalker series that happens right after Return of the Jedi, to know what he did until he got to that point to where he was training Ben. So I'm just saying, if he ends up showing up at the end of season 2 to lead us into season 3, because obviously, I mean, we're getting into everything. Sebastian Stan is still contracted to do Falcon and Winter Soldier, but they've already started shooting that. Right now, for season 3, they're only writing season 3 of Mandalorian while they're preparing to release season 2. So,
it's being ahead right now.
Exactly. And so the thing is that if you're writing this to then branch out, and we know that Filoni's a part of this, he knows how to tie in stuff. So like I said, Filoni knows that a vast majority of people did not like the new trilogy, and they didn't like how they used Luke Skywalker. So what is the best way to redeem him? It all goes back to what I've been saying from day one, is the filler stuff to make us understand and like the newer series. So then you bring in a young Luke Skywalker, Disney Plus is going to be destroyed, because everybody who's ever liked Luke Skywalker is going to get it just to see the Mandalorian.
Now that could backfire. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm disagreeing with you to a point. Like, I'm excited to see
either
a young.
You are, you're not.
Well, I see. I'm torn. Like, I don't know if I want to argue with him or not. Like obviously, we know how I feel about Episode 8 and what they did with Luke Skywalker. That's my biggest problem with it. So if you give me a young Luke Skywalker, which, dude, I'm for, I still want Mark Hamill. So what I'm saying is like, if you're going to do a young Luke Skywalker series, you have Mark Hamill telling stories to somebody, and you just let me see Mark Hamill, and I'm fine. But that's a dream. So if we just get a young Luke Skywalker and showing us what he did between episode 6 and episode 7 or 8, when we actually see him, then you can't make him what everybody wanted him to be. Because if you show me Luke Skywalker doing all the things that Luke Skywalker did in the EU, it's going to be much harder for me to digest the last time that I got to see like my personal hero, Mark Hamill, as Luke Skywalker, and he's an old man who's a hermit. So
that's why I disagree with you, because I guarantee you, matter of fact, I would drive to your house the first time an episode came on with Luke Skywalker in it, with Sebastian Stan, and watch you literally disintegrate because that you see him as Luke Skywalker. The thing is this, right? I understand what you're saying. You have the same attachment to Luke Skywalker or Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker as most people had with Harrison Ford as Han Solo. So when they saw Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo, they could not fathom it. You know what I'm saying?
It was weird. Yeah.
Right. But the difference is, I think what's going to happen, you're going to see the Alec Guinness effect with Ewan McGregor being Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because if you look at those pictures of a side by side of Sebastian Stan and Mark Hamill when he was younger, they look identical. So the thing is to protect the character. If you bring the character back and then fill in that backstory so that you understand how he became the hermit. Because see, what a lot of people forget, right? is that we learned the backstory of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars, and we seen him in episode 1, 2, and 3, and we were awed by the way that Ewan McGregor played him. But Alec Guinness was the old hermit. He was Ben Kenobi. So the thing is that as Jedi get older, just like we just talked about the Sith, when they get older, they kind of shy away from the saber. As Jedi get older, they learn more about the Force. And so the thing is that you got to understand, and we're not going to get into this because you already know we can go all day about this.
No, we're getting into it. You started it. We're getting into it.
What I'm saying is that from the standpoint of Luke Skywalker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luke wasn't trained, right? The 3 Jedi that got it right, Qui-Gon Jinn,
mm-hmm.
Luke Skywalker, and Rey Skywalker Palpatine. They were not classically trained. You and I have both read Master and Apprentice, and we've seen how Qui-Gon did not function the same way the rest of the council did, which is why he denied getting on the council, right?
Right.
So his mind frame allowed him to be able to come and then learn how to be a force user. I mean, to become a Force ghost. And then Luke was not trained. He got a little bit of training from Yoda. He spent about 2 or 3 days with Yoda, and that was it, right?
Well, I think it was supposed to be a longer stretch than that, but I see what you mean. But what I'm getting at is like, it's hard for me. It's hard when you start comparing the hermit of Obi-Wan becoming a hermit. Like, he became a hermit for a reason. He didn't cut himself off from the Force. He was still working. He was still achieving what he was supposed to achieve. Whereas we see the Luke Skywalker hermit, where he completely cut himself off from the Force and just became an old grumpy man. Like, it's not a good comparison to me, because like Luke Skywalker was not on that rock with a purpose, whereas Obi-Wan was in that desert with a purpose.
And speaking of hermits, we had a hermit that showed up.
Whoa!
Hey!
You digging that shirt?
What up?
Here we go.
I'm sorry. I know. I had a. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How are you?
I don't even know where we're at, so just go ahead and talk. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna catch up.
Only thing I was gonna say, Shane, is that I understand that you don't agree how Luke got to the point that he was at, but the story is there. We just don't know the story yet. So what I'm saying is, you have, in order to get to that point, you have to start from somewhere. So if you establish, because here's the thing, what people mostly complained about is not being able to ever see Luke Skywalker in the way that you knew it in the EU, right?
Right.
And so this all-powerful great being who learned the Force basically from his own self, because he didn't have any more training. So the thing is that to see him in that essence, in that form, and then get to the point to find out why he cut himself off from the Force, there's a story there. There's a story there. There's a story of how Palpatine came back. There's a story how Han Solo and Leia got divorced, or were on the verge of divorce, separated. There's a story as how Ben got caught up with Snoke. Like, all of those stories are there. And just like we found out stuff with the Clone Wars, with Rogue One, with all the source material that you and I have been reading in novels, we if you think about it, you and I just read Queen's Peril, where we learned about, and we'll talk about that later, but we learned about how Padme and her handmaidens were that close. So then that makes you rethink about what happened when one of them passed in the beginning of episode 2. And it's like, yo, now that I know how close they were, I have questions. I need to know. Well, if they were that close, did they know about Anakin? Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, there's so many things, and that came from extra material, because this is not like any other franchise of movies that we've ever watched. There's so much source material that we learn about after the fact. Just like we got Queen's Peril, which that should have been the first book, but that was actually the second book.
Totally agree with you there.
Yeah. So it's all there.
My last point on what you're saying is, I'm not saying that I don't want Sebastian Stan. I'm just saying, like, when you say Luke didn't really have training, I mean, when we read the legend, is it the Legends of Luke Skywalker, where it's the different stories? Luke Skywalker, after Return of the Jedi, he didn't just it's Return of the Jedi. After Return of the Jedi, he didn't just instantly go start a temple. Luke Skywalker spent years of his life going and finding the Jedi and the Sith temples and
Right.
researching and finding the books and learning everything he could about the Jedi. So this is what I'm saying. Like, even reading that book, which is canon, and that book kind of sets up a little bit of what happened in Episode 8 and where that new attitude comes from. But even with that new attitude being, to paraphrase it, basically like it's the light or the dark side. It's basically just the will of the Force. So like you're supposed to just flow with the Force. Like that's where I believe that it's harder for me to see Luke Skywalker completely cut himself off instead of just flowing with the Force.
But here's the thing, though, right? You know, the part of what I mean by Luke wasn't trained. Luke was, what, 17, 18, maybe even 20 when he finally got to Yoda? Somewhere along in there.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
What I'm saying is he was well past, just like his father before him, was well past the age that you typically started learning to be a Jedi, a youngling.
Right.
He skipped the youngling. He skipped the
That's too old.
Jedi apprentice. He came and he went straight to being a Jedi Knight, and even then a Jedi Master. Like you said, he didn't get his training until after Palpatine was destroyed the first time. So the thing is that he went on his journey to find these relics and stuff like that. But I said all that to say is that he's been tempted in moments before, and he was just able to handle it better. So when it gets to the point that he's training his nephew, who Han never even wanted that to happen, because the way they was kind of hinting at that at the Force Awakens is that was what caused him and Leia to separate, because Leia wanted him to train Ben, and Han didn't want that type of life because he didn't really believe in the Force like that.
Right. He was never really behind the Force. I agree with you there.
Right. So you take that.
Han was never bought into that.
He said it was true, all of it.
You take that, and then he almost came to one breaking point where he saw the fear in his nephew, and he was about to strike him, and he had that momentary lapse. So for him, it's like, listen, my father almost destroyed the galaxy. Now my nephew is being seduced by it, and I couldn't stop him. I tried to. So again, I know you don't agree.
He faced Palpatine and Darth Vader in their prime. And he laid down his lightsaber and said, "I will not turn. Strike me down, Father." Like,
right. And
that man does not become the old man on that rock.
But hold on, time out.
And he also doesn't become the old man that almost strikes his nephew down. If you think about that, think about the will that he had to have.
Y'all, he
bad
went.
Writing.
It's not bad writing. It's not bad writing.
It is. But go ahead.
It's bad writing.
During his studies, when he was studying, he learned the stuff that caused the Jedi to fail to begin with, which is why whose internet is froze?
Yours.
He said that's why, and then it stopped.
And then it just stopped, and I was like, "Look, you can't even argue about it." I'm just giving you a hard time, Ace.
You're back. Okay. You're back now.
All right, go. Go ahead. What I'm saying is, even with back when he went to search for all of those different relics, he was learning the Jedi code that was taught in the past, which is the stuff that caused them to fall. Like all of that stuff that he was learning was the things that the old Jedi way, which is why Yoda had to come and tell him, like, no, what we taught you was wrong. All of that stuff that you read about, all of them books you got, that stuff is wrong. It's right. And you and I know that, like, without even watching that movie, right? You and I talked, and we talked about how it's better to be a gray Jedi because you have to go a little bit dark, but it's succumbing to the dark side. It's not going to the dark side, it's succumbing to it. So the thing was that was part of it. And so he was trying to live up to something that was a failure. And so it took for that moment where Yoda's like, nah, burn all of that down. Even though Yoda knew that Rey already took the stuff. But I'm saying the point was get rid of this old stuff. And we have got to move on if the Jedi are ever to survive. That's the only thing that I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they do a Sebastian Stan series, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, so we can move on. If they do a Sebastian Stan series, I'm behind that. But you would have to clearly show me how Luke transitioned from the Return of the Jedi to where he was in 8, and you would have to make it believable. Like You would have to show me what changed his mind from "strike me down, Father, because I will not turn," and facing Palpatine, the most influential Sith Lord in thousands of years, to where he was in 8, where one bad dream about his nephew and he wants to kill him. So it's a long walk.
It's a long walk, but here's the beautiful thing that we get right. Not only is it a long walk, but it also is Dave Filoni that's there to help piece this together.
But does Filoni want to get there? Is Filoni happy with what they did with Luke Skywalker?
No, he's probably not. But if you're Dave Filoni, you got to save this series. This is everything his life is built on. If you're Dave Filoni, you believe in everything. So it doesn't matter what somebody else has done or what you have in the future or other things that are out. You have got to save everything Star Wars because it's what you believe in. And so, yeah, I wholeheartedly believe in Dave Filoni saving Star Wars to the point of like connecting everything and it making sense and pleasing fans. It's not going to please everybody, but it is going to tie the stories together. That's what he's destined to do.
It's going to take. I'm just being honest. It's going to take something amazing to make me look at Luke Skywalker in Episode 8 and be happy. But I'm not saying that if a Sebastian Stan series comes out, I'm not going to be excited for every second of it. I don't
think that.
Let me call Dave real quick.
I don't think it's going to be set for you to necessarily end up liking Episode 8. Like I said, I think that's a sore that's going to be there. It's like that's a scar that's just not going to heal for you.
It's not going to heal.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean that everything else that's built towards it, because I wholeheartedly believe in the fact that we have been given, like we had the meat of the story with the movies, right? And now I've been getting all the supportive information, like the Clone Wars, like the novels, like everything else. And it's making me appreciate even the things that I didn't necessarily like. And so I just feel like that's the way it's going to be for everything else. So
it's 2 of me.
Jared cloned himself. We have officially reached cloning.
Hey, here we go.
We visited Camino this week, guys.
Dang. I thought this was
what's happening.
Picked the wrong one.
Oh, no.
Can you clone us all?
I knew it. I knew that Jared was Palpatine.
Look, Jared, can you clone us all?
Please. No, not me. I don't want 2 of me.
I don't know how I did that, honestly.
I don't want to compete with I don't want to compete with greatness. I only need 1 of me, please. No, here's my thoughts on this, and then I'll be done with this talking thing. When you talk about 7, 8, 9, it happened. Right. That's what it was, and that's what it is. And as Star Wars fans, you just got to accept it. That's what it is. And I think that you hear people saying let's erase them and do them again. No, don't do that, because you're taking away from what
Moff Gideon, he might have.
What was that? Sorry,
we lost you.
Yeah, we lost you. I liked where you're going with that.
I did too.
I liked it.
Am I here?
You're here now.
Am I here?
Are you C3PP
Barely.
today? I think you are C3PP today.
Nope.
I have guys. I don't know. I'm ready. I'm on a roll too. What the heck?
You were going with those
we got. I hate it. But what I was trying to say quick before my internet goes out. It's where we're going. We need to move to the future. We have Mandalorian season 2. We have all this stuff coming up. We have everything looking to the future. Hey, let's take the extra stuff. Ace talks about it all the time. We got the books coming in. I know that it's irritating that you have to have a book to make things connect, but as Star Wars fans, don't we love more content? Isn't that what we're about? Reading the books and getting in there and making it a part of who we are. I love it. I love listening to other podcasts and speculations, and I love all of that. So if it means more content, hey, you know what? Let's just make it happen. Let's just see. Yeah, we have 7, 8, 9. Let's make it make sense. Why not? There's so many people out there that can write it and make it work, and let's utilize that. That's what I love about Star Wars is that's what we do. That's how we got the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
that's how we got our podcast.
That's
I mean,
right.
obviously,
That's how
yeah.
it
I mean,
goes. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
anything we get, I'm going to get behind. Like, I mean, I'm excited, and if we get more Luke Skywalker, I mean, it's really cool to me. I just hope they find a way to integrate Hamill before while we still have him. Like, it would be
Yeah.
cool to see him. Like, maybe the last seasons, maybe we see directly leading up to what happened in Episode 8. Like, you could do a lot of fun things because you've still got Hamill around. I don't know if he would
Hamill's
come back
young.
to the character,
He's
but
youngish.
yeah, well, and he's still
We've got a lot of
working.
anti-aging stuff that we throw in there now.
Yeah, I mean, we all need to drink the same water he is. So
Throw him in a
I
back
agree
to
with
tank,
Bonnie,
man.
though. Bonnie says, but why is it irritating? The Star Wars universe is huge.
why is what irritating?
Having to
That's
build
7,
all
8, and 9 suck.
Yeah.
I think is what she's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Why is it?
it doesn't really irritate me. Like, I'm all about lore. If you want to give me more backstory and stuff, I just get irritated with where they went with this character, and that's just me. Like,
I mean, I know that, but it's one of those things. Like, it's so. For instance, like the worst thing. I know we need to move to the next topic, but this is so good. But
No, we're good. Keep going.
Like Jar Jar Binks completely. Like, I wish that character was not the actor that played him, but just the character itself.
you didn't need the character.
We did not, and he could have been there. I just feel like he could have been toned down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, but at the same token, Jar Jar Binks has been in a bunch of other novels where I've enjoyed the character. And so my thing is that I feel like I understand as Star Wars fans, no matter what you put out, even in The Mandalorian, people complained about certain things. I myself, I wasn't on board with some of the episodes, but that didn't ultimately affect my viewing of the Mandalorian. So my thing is that there are things that we're gonna like and don't like, and obviously Luke Skywalker, who was one of the pivotal characters of the series, was mishandled in your view and in a lot of people's view, and totally understandable. But at the same time, we have two choices. We can sit there and complain about it all the time, or we can watch the growth of the character and try to appreciate something out of it, because they're not going to change it because it's already slated.
Right. And I'm never going to call for them to change it ever.
Yeah.
Like, you can't change it. It's done. I've seen it. I own the movies. I bought the action figures. I've got old man Luke Skywalker over there, guys. Like I get it. It happened, but like, I haven't seen any progress in that character yet. Like, I haven't had a book. I haven't had a short film.
Dead,
I haven't had. Right. But what I'm saying is I haven't seen anything from Disney or Lucasfilm or the writing team that leads me into where that character went. And I read the Legends of Luke Skywalker, which was the build up leading into that movie, and like that got me excited because I'm thinking, holy crap, we might see some cool stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm behind if you want to flesh it out.
Yeah.
But start fleshing it out for me. Like give me, hey guys, we're 5 years away or we're 3 years away, but we're talking about a Luke Skywalker series. Like, give me a taste. And I'm all for it. If we see Sebastian Stan, I'm going to lose my crap. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah, if we do if they do fix Luke, you know what's gonna happen, right? I finally get to say to you,
you won't be giving us any more trouble.
But dude, look, it's just like, Shane, I know you're a super hard fanboy when it comes to Luke Skywalker, and it's rightfully so, because a lot of the series is based on he carried it. Like, Luke Skywalker is Star Wars.
We grew up with him.
We grew up with him.
Right.
Everybody did. Everybody wanted to be Luke Skywalker and kiss Leia until you realized it was his sister, and then you didn't want to do that anymore. But what I'm trying to allude to is there's a whole lot of people that only know Luke as the old Luke and as old Luke Skywalker. And I know, and it is. But I think that's why I think that we're going to be pleasantly surprised. I don't know if we've talked about this yet or not, because I'm just coming in. But like, there's rumors that George is going to take over again for Star Wars. Luke Skywalker is George Lucas's baby, and the only thing I'm thinking is, if he has any, I know you're shaking your head, but if he has any creative control, I'm not saying that he takes over again and takes it all back to himself, but if he has any creative control, I think you're going to be able to see. I know you think, hey, it's fine, it's whatever. Kathleen Kennedy sucks anyways. So what I'm saying is, like, if moving forward, if I lost where I'm going. Crap. I really hate
sorry.
that.
I don't think
really hate that.
Dark side.
I don't think we see
It's
George.
not a dark side power. That's a Jar Jar Binks power. It's not a dark side power.
George.
It's a
George
distraction.
George made
It's
4.1
the same
billion.
thing. Whenever Jar Jar Binks got his stupid mouth caught in between the pod racer, that's exactly what you did there. It's not. It's stupid.
George made $4.1 billion off the sale of Star Wars. If he wanted to keep doing Star Wars, he wouldn't have sold it. Like, he's not coming back. I think if we get changes...
well, George 2.0, Dave Filoni, whoever.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Luke Skywalker is important. And what I was trying to get to was, you're going to have the lore. You're going to have the backstories. You are going to get the pieces that make it make
that's
sense.
all I've been asking for. Like, we have
it's going to happen.
When we have a Vader comic, give me a Luke Skywalker comic. I will absorb every single line of that. Like, that's what I'm saying, is start showing me the build-up. Like,
Mark Hamill's still alive. He still goes to all the Comic-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a huge part of Star Wars and Disney. He's going to be. They're going to do it. It's going to happen.
I love your positivity. I appreciate you keeping me positive over here.
I'm glad we aren't together. I bet punched everybody right
I'm
now.
in such a good mood today, though, with this cup.
Hey, I didn't do anything. I just brought him up.
You were the one switching the cameras. You get punched too. That's a punch.
Okay, so since we're on this, we might as well go with it. So we've seen some new force powers, like cutting yourself off from the force and things like that. What would be your favorite force power? You can only pick one. What's your favorite force power out of all the ones that we know are canon?
Is there a force time machine?
Oh, the ones that we know.
The ones that we know.
For me, while y'all are thinking of y'all's, I was gonna say doppelganger, but that kills you, so I'm cool on that. So I will have to go with the ability to see through your visions, because the thing that Qui-Gon saw visions, and he was able, like, he knew that those visions necessarily wouldn't go, like, he in the beginning he thought, like, let me do something to prevent the vision from coming to fruition. Mm-hmm. But that's not what it is. Once you see the vision, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
You just got to figure out what it is, because that was the thing. Him and Anakin both tried to do that. They tried to avoid the inevitable of happening, but instead they needed to embrace the vision and try to go through it. Now I understand where Anakin was going through, because his wife died in his vision, and so I get that. But we're like Qui-Gon, he saw war happening before it took place, so he was prepared mentally for that. So that would be my ability, is to be able to see what's coming and try to prepare for it and not try to avoid it.
Would that be that's the foresight power, right? I don't know, is that the official name of it?
I don't know.
I don't know the official name.
I know, because multiple
Joey
Jedi
knows. Joey knows because he has the book. There's all the stuff in it.
He does.
I mean, there were tons of Jedi that have the ability, and if we want to, I'm going to go a little deeper into the lore. If we want to go a little deeper in the lore, the Jedi used to have, like, basically their own what's the word I'm looking for? Their own prophecies. So they had seers. The Jedi had a group of seers, and they would write out the prophecies. But there's so much vagueness, and there's so much like, you know, if you try and prevent it, is that the steps that leads to it coming to pass? Like, can you stop it? So, like, there was so much vagueness in that, and there was, like, when they prophesied the Chosen One, it was how many ever hundreds of years before the Chosen One showed up, and we don't even know if we actually saw the Chosen One technically. But there's so much vagueness in it that the Jedi really went away from that, and that's why, like, Qui-Gon and stuff like that, there was so much pushback from the Council and the other people of the Force, because they had really stepped back from that power. And they try to avoid it, because, I mean, there's so much vagueness and so many things can happen. And like Yoda says, like focusing on the future, like you can't focus on the future, like visions.
Power.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting power, but it can also be super dangerous, as we see where it led Anakin.
Well, it's partly because of what we're going through right now, this pandemic, right? So the thing was that I know somewhere in time there was nothing but Jedi, right? And then at some point, something happened to cause, when people that were a part of the Jedi wanted more power for themselves, caused them to go to the dark side. So that was probably an ability early on that eventually. Why are you shaking your head?
That's not technically true. So there wasn't Jedi to start. And you're really stretching my lore knowledge here. So I'm going to apologize in advance.
Just whisper it. That's your name. Don't
Basically,
talk loud.
there was a cult. And they weren't Jedi. And they were on a planet in the deep, deep, deep core. So think deep core, the center of the universe. And it's still there, but there's a lot of crazy stuff. And I don't know how much of this is still canon. But there was a Sith race. So not a cult. Like there was actually a Sith race of beings. And I don't know what they looked like. It's been a while since I read those books. So there was a Sith race, and there was the cult that worship. I forget the name of it, but they were basically the precursors of the Jedi, and the Jedi grew out of that cult. And the Sith religion, you can't see my hands, but I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff with my hands. The Sith religion built up out of the Sith race, and then they branched out as more people came to those powers. Now there are always people leaving the Jedi, and they did turn towards the dark side, but basically it wasn't Jedi that split into the two groups. There were other factions and stuff like that. The Jedi built out of a cult. So
okay, well, even with that, right? They still didn't know why people were branching off to go to be Sith. And so what I'm saying is I think initially that was probably a power that was taught. And then, you know, how Yoda believed that if you start looking into the future, that leads to the dark side. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's one of those things like they just abandoned it because Yoda said, nah, we ain't doing that no more. And so what I'm saying, the reason why is because like when Anakin went to talk to him about his believing that his mother, something was going to happen to his mom. You know what I'm saying? Same thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. And obviously the visions can lead to some spooky stuff. I mean, like if you start trying to prevent those things, like, so he's seeing visions of Padme's death. Well, him trying to prevent it is directly what led to it. So like, I get why Yoda's scared of it. Like, you know, and they talk about how clouded their vision was. Yoda was still trying to see into the future through all of episode 1, 2, and 3, because he keeps mentioning how it's clouded. Clouded the future is, clouded the future is, clouded his future is. Like, we get it, but Yoda's still searching. Anakin just doesn't know to look and not try and prevent.
I'm going to tell you mine.
To help him.
I'm going to tell you mine. The one I want.
I want to hear it.
Yes.
You remember when Snoke just threw Hux?
Small hands. Who? You know what?
Hey, I'm trying to say something.
Well, hold on. I'm getting personally attacked over here. I don't have small hands.
See, he's fine.
They're not small. Like,
that's pretty small. Look at my hands. Look how big they are.
Well, I'm gonna put them right up in front. Look, guys. Look how big they are. Like,
Shane, hurt people. You see, he's
I appreciate that. Thank you. You know what? You're not bringing me down, Jesse. I've got Baby Yoda with tiny hands, and people still love him. Okay, we'll see you making fun of Baby Yoda's hands. I'm sorry, Justin. Let's hear yours. Small hands.
It's not even funny now. It's trying to be funny. It's not funny. You remember when Snoke straight up threw Hux on the ground? I want to do that.
So,
like literally right now, you want to do that to somebody?
What are we looking at?
Yeah, to Darth Kindar and the Lore Whisperer for earlier when they were attacking me.
Is that a Scentsy Mandalorian scent?
Yes.
Wait, what is it?
What's
it smell like? Does that smell like sand? I hate
it. Like Jux.
Is it Baby Yoda smell?
It better not smell like sand. If that smells like sand, I'm out. I hate sand.
No, it's got a very
it's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere, Justin. I totally agree.
Hey, that's an awful small mug, is what Jesse said.
You know what? I'll show you small. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Right, Shane, Justin, what was your powers, bro?
I don't know, dude. It doesn't matter. It's whatever. It's a throwing a thing or whatever.
He wants to throw people around.
He said we're the one where he threw.
I want to chokehold people and throw them on the ground.
Force choke is pretty cool.
But from not near you. Like right now, I'd do it to you and not be near you. It smells like pop. I smell popcorn.
I thought you were going to say
that's either me having the stroke in a minute or my wife's making popcorn.
I hope she's making popcorn.
One of the two. I don't know.
So
okay,
my favorite Force power. I don't really have a favorite, but I think the coolest is a dark side power that we haven't seen in a film yet. I guess we got a little bit of it with the life transfer, but you know, it's mentioned throughout the old stuff. I'm not talking about the stupid stuff they did in episode 9. I'm talking about the old school Sith Lords who were able to extend their life by stealing the life essence from other Sith Lords.
Yes.
That's such a cool concept.
There's some life force I would steal from people. I'm
seriously, like think about it. Like I think it's basically Highlander, but Star Wars, and you don't have to cut their head off. Like think of like the Emperor, who was so powerful he reigned for 1,000 years. I'm not talking Palpatine. I'm talking one of the Sith emperors. Like the ability to have that much control over the Force, where you could take the essence from a whole planet and channel that into your being and build your Force powers up. Like that is the ultimate dark side power, not stupid Force lightning. Like he literally sucked the Force out of a planet and channeled it into his body.
That's
like
what she said.
He used a ritual. I mean, so technically he had to use a ritual. It's the coolest concept to me for where you could go with like the ultimate bad guy. Like,
and here we are here we are in what episode 4 when we're blowing up Alderaan. We could have stolen the whole freaking life force.
Well,
Good job, Darth Vader.
He did have to use a Sith ritual, and he tricked the other Sith lords into helping with it. But so he didn't do it on his own.
If Darth Vader was the Anakin that we had in the Clone Wars in episode 4, he would have totally done that.
I mean, he could do it.
He would have been Palpatine.
Now, it's a really cool concept to me. Like, and I think it's something they could explore. Like I think it would have been so much cooler if that's how Palpatine was extending his life. Is he was stealing it from other Force sensitives or something like that. Like
somebody write that.
Like how cool would that be? Like
there's your connection right there. There's your connection to him still being alive in episode 8 or 9. Right there.
I mean, I think there's some cool stuff you could do with that, and it's obviously a dark side power, and it's purely dark side. Like a gray Jedi is not going to use, Force like essence stealing. That's not going to be a gray Jedi power. But
Rey did it.
Again, we don't need to go there. I'm just saying, like, it's a cool concept, and it excites.
But they did
me.
it. They did it back and forth. They did it to each other.
Yeah,
okay.
Back and forth, man.
That is what she said.
And there's our E rating. There you go, everyone. There's our explicit rating for the night.
Growing up, my two favorite Force powers would have to be the calling, like to be able to pull stuff to you, like catching your favor. I love that, and then also the Jedi mind trick. Like that's always been really cool to be able to just. I'm not here.
7, 8, and 9 were bad movies.
You already would have done that to me, but it wouldn't have worked because I'm not weak-minded. So suck it. And I don't have small hands.
No, it's
Jesse.
because the only thing you think about is money.
Well, yeah.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
I didn't even know what that said.
It's my favorite.
Every time I see him all angry.
I scream that in my head all the time.
I would hate Obi-Wan too if he literally cut my legs off, watched me catch on fire, and he's just standing up there yelling about me about how's the chosen one. Just end me already.
As I'm sliding towards lava. Hey, Obi-Wan, help me out, brother.
I'm on fire, or just kill me. Don't watch me burn to death.
You're sitting there telling me that we're brothers, and you're watching me slide into the lava. Hello. Yeah. Help me out a little bit.
I was a little disappointed in Obi-Wan.
Dude,
just
Ben Kenobi's a punk, dude.
Don't you start with me. I will fight you. Ben Kenobi's
Obi-Wan. Yeah, he's a punk, dude. He let his brother fall into the lava. He's a punk.
He murdered younglings. Okay? Letting him...
So that means that it was Obi-Wan's fault. He wasn't paying attention to his own brother.
He should have said something.
You are your brother's keeper. Right there. Hey, join the Sith. That's right. Look at my name. Look at my name. Return to the Sith.
Okay. I got no. Whatever.
Okay.
I'm Darth Revan right now.
I think
Darth Revan.
No.
I'm dark side and light side, baby.
You couldn't hold a candle to Revan.
Don't even start.
I will drive to your house. Well, you're a little bigger than me. So I won't fight you, but I will drive to your house and disagree with you strongly.
I will not deliver your mail to your house. You will not get mail for a week.
I don't deliver your mail, or you wouldn't have already gotten it for other reasons. So
I am missing the package. I'm gonna have to call you.
That is not our fault. Not our fault. I want to make that abundantly clear. We don't delay. We don't hold mail. So.
That's your fault. No, that's fine. Go ahead. It's your fault. Go ahead.
Hey, let's change subject. Jared. He doesn't know what's going on over there.
So
that's fine. Go ahead, Jared. Okay. It's Shane's fault. Go ahead.
So my favorites.
It's the lore whisperer.
Obviously, if you go by like the old stuff, the force pull the first time you see him grab the lightsaber out of the stuff. Those are always good. But my new one would have to be the main thing that
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at Jesse's. I'm laughing at the last comment. For Jesse
my favorite. What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Someone
no,
says
I'm laughing.
their hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
it.
No, did you see the one
Okay.
about the cutting the Whopper in half? Anyways, okay, go ahead.
Anyways, so the main thing that I did like out of The Last Jedi was the Force projection. That was my favorite part, and that was because we actually got to see Luke, probably. So
It was the only time he did something in the movie.
Well, I liked it because of something new. Like, even though it existed in the lore of Jedi, we never saw that on screen before, and I thought that was very bold. So I'm with you, Jared. I thought it was dope.
yeah.
How
that was
far
my favorite.
after the Rose Tico stunt was that?
It was right after because she had just
Yeah.
saved Finn, and so they were trying to get her back to the
For
base.
love? Remember, for love.
But
Then there's that super awkward kiss.
you know what I thought
Quality.
was interesting though, Jared, because we watching that scene, and they made it very apparent. You know what I'm saying? Like, everywhere you stepped, it turned red. It turned red.
But you didn't know. You went through the
not
whole
know.
thing until somebody goes, "Hey, did you notice his foot?"
Because we
didn't
were all
scrape the
excited to
ground?"
see Luke Skywalker do something. Like, everyone's excited about that part of the film because Luke finally does something.
Oh, Shane, guess what? Guess what? That's
Uh-oh.
good writing.
No,
it's
no,
because
it's not really.
we-
But that's okay.
We were in so much shock from when he
Not
took
bad.
the
It's
lightsaber
not
at the
good
very
writing.
beginning and just tossed it.
You
not
know
good
what?
writing.
Yeah. I'm not going to go there. Whatever.
Hey, let me put this real quick. If you're Rose Tico and
Oh,
you
God.
save
I
somebody,
would
no,
not be Rose
listen,
Tico.
listen to me, listen to
Oh,
me.
God.
If you're Rose Tico and you save Finn, but the entire 3 movies he's yelling some other girl's name, I mean, how do you feel about yourself?
She's just chasing the dream, man.
Justin, the answer to your question is that even though he was yelling for Ray, she had friend zoned him when she kissed him on his forehead.
Hey,
in
I-
the Force Awakens.
Look,
I'm
they,
just saying he's still
they spent-
chasing it.
they spent all of episodes 8 and 9 together. So, I mean, why
He
not?
wanted to tell her a secret that he was forced to do. That was all that
Thanks,
he was
George.
trying to do.
He didn't tell
Thank you,
Rose.
George.
He didn't tell Rose he was force sensitive.
I'm saying why he was trying to get at Ray. That's the only reason why he wanted to get around her, was to tell her he was force sensitive, and he still didn't tell her.
He chickened out, man.
He wasn't trying to do that. He's trying to get Ray.
You got to shoot your shot.
And he shot it.
Oh, he
Hey,
definitely
let's
shot
talk
it.
about
It
talk about everybody's favorite senator.
Everybody's favorite senator.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite senator?
I mean, I feel
Probably Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. I figured it was.
Yep. It's
That makes
definitely
sense.
not Padme. The worst senator ever.
Okay.
Why
I
would you
agree-
go for
I agree with you,
Anakin
Anna.
if you had
So you-
Obi-Wan Kenobi right there? Why would you go for Anakin?
I mean, because Obi would have been a little old for her, right?
No, are you kidding? She's trying to date a 9-year-old. What are you talking
I
about?
mean, we don't really need to get into the ages. That's a little
Okay.
weird. I just watched
So-
episode 1 again, and it's gross. Like, it's gross. I love
Okay,
me some
so-
Padme, but it's gross.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking about force powers, obviously, from what I've read, the Sith used the whole seeing to the future more often than most people did, just because, and they knew that it could change as they went, went. Great grammar. Anyways,
Try
So,
it again.
if-
Start over.
Palpatine was like the epitome of being able to be in the dark side, seeing nobody knows what was going on with his fart cloud of darkness or whatever it was. Do you think Palpatine had Padme win, being the Queen of Naboo, knowing in advance that that was part of that, to set up Anakin ultimately?
I think that was just coincidence.
I don't.
I'm going to let Ace go, and then I'm going to rebuke.
Okay. So I just got done reading Queen's Peril, and in it, and this is not spoilery. I mean, these are tropes that you know about Palpatine earlier on. Everybody knows that he's from Naboo, just like she's from Naboo. And so the thing was that Naboo was notorious for getting young girls to be queens.
That doesn't sound good.
I mean, I get it, but that's the culture. That's some galaxy far, far away.
Doesn't sound good. I don't know which book you read, but I didn't read that book.
You read it.
I want to point out I did not read that. We had.
Whoa! What are y'all reading?
Shane,
I don't know what
Not
he's reading.
any of the same things I'm reading.
I'm just giving you crap. Come on, I'm ready to reboot. Let's
Okay.
get going. I'm ready to
Reboot.
reboot.
Reboot. Yeah, definitely need to reboot.
But anyway, back to the story.
How can you look at this mug, guys? How can you be?
No,
Like,
that's tiny, man.
Come
How's
on,
that-
guys.
That's a tiny mug.
what a great mug.
Are your hands that small?
They are that small. Go ahead, Ace. Go ahead, Ace. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Palpatine, the morning of the election, when Padme was elected to be queen, he was good friends with
Somebody's hitting a bong right now. Sorry,
he was
go ahead.
friends with Captain Panaka, and so he called to find out about the election to make sure that Padme was going to win. And so the thing is that because Palpatine knows how to plan things in the future, he needed somebody who was going to be naive and easy to be manipulated and have them in power, which a young girl. He also put Anakin and Obi-Wan in the direction of her in Attack of the Clones. So that was the dynamic when he put them together. And so he placed them together knowing that he would fall in love with her because he has attachment issues, which then led to the ultimate of him trying to save her.
Okay, I don't know where to start with all this. I don't know where to start with all this. It's not a child's mug. Bonnie, thank you. It's actually a large mug.
I don't know why y'all are letting him destroy
A small
what we
mug.
have going on. Like it's not that hard. Just
And
ignore it.
what's wrong with apple juice, Jesse? I mean, what your problem with apple juice is, but whatever. It's Red Diamond sweet tea. Okay? All right. So Palpatine did not know when she became queen that Anakin was in her future. Okay? If you read the books, which obviously you have, we have a little different take on this. Palpatine wanted her because she was so young. He felt that she would be naive. And he felt that when he pushed the Trade Federation into taking over Naboo, like his plan was always for Naboo to fall to the Trade Federation. That was always his plan. And he mentions it multiple times that Padme surprises him when Padme goes back and they end up recapturing Naboo. It throws a wrench in his plan, and that he has to tweak his overall plan to become the Supreme Chancellor. Like Naboo was supposed to fall to the Trade Federation, and that was supposed to push him a little quicker to becoming the Supreme Chancellor. Now, obviously, he pivoted well, but his original intentions were not the Anakin and Padme thing. In the beginning, when he meets Anakin, I strongly feel that that's the first time he's aware of Anakin. And he says, obviously he's talking about himself. He goes, we're going to watch you with great interest. So I think at that point, he realizes that Anakin can be a plan, or it can be a tool that he can use. So I think he started thinking about Anakin when he first sees him at the end of episode 1. But no, let me finish. So, okay,
I'm gonna give
the
you
first time he
gave me
sees
when I was explaining.
Okay, so the first time he sees Anakin, he says, we're going to watch you with interest. Okay, that's when he starts plotting with Anakin. Then we have the 10-year jump between episode 1 and 2, and then he tries to kill Padme again and fails. Which, come on, you're freaking Palpatine. You should be able to kill Padme if you want to kill Padme. But it doesn't fit the plot. So that's when he actively puts Anakin in her path. So I'm with you from there. But it is not canon that he created Anakin with the Force. It's not. A lot of people think it is, and some people assume it is, but there's nothing that says that he created Anakin with the Force. So I don't think that he knew Anakin existed until the end of episode 1. Yes, he could see different paths in the future, but there's nothing to indicate anywhere that he knew Anakin existed leading into episode 1. And he wanted Padme because she was young and naive, and that's a quote. And the reason for that is he thought a young, naive queen would cave when the Trade Federation came to take over Naboo.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, Return of the Sith. I know you got to go.
I know. I gotta
We
go.
love you.
I know, guys.
We love you,
I'm
bro.
sorry. I know. I got work is calling again. I'm sorry. But I just want to say one last thing. Get ready because next week I'm bringing the heat. Is it who is it next week? Or is it all of us?
No, I'm out. I'm out next week.
Shane's out next week.
Yeah.
So the
Is it
red's
me?
gone.
Is it me and Ace and Jared? Right?
And
I believe so.
And Joey.
All right. I got some stuff up my sleeve, so just get ready. Be back here. Hey, don't
bring
stop
the
debating,
sleeves.
guys. I love you guys. That's
Love you
right.
too,
See you,
man.
I'm going to.
Thanks for
All right.
getting on.
May the force be with you all. See ya.
Later.
Now, Shane.
Yeah.
You and I both read Lords of the Sith, and
We did.
Justin's going. I can talk about it a little bit. Okay, so there's a scene where they're on some planet and the destruction of the destroyer is happening, and Vader was aware that Palpatine's personal ship was destroyed, and somebody runs up to him and says, "Hey, Palpatine's waiting for you in his ship," and Vader says, "What ship? His ship was destroyed." He said, No. His other ship. He gets there, and Palpatine is laughing while the destruction of a destroyer is going on. So I said that to say because Palpatine already knew what was going to happen. He knew his first ship was going to get destroyed, so he had a second ship. Now, back to your story about him, being naive with
No, not him being naive. Her
Are you
being
gonna
naive.
let me talk, sir? Okay. With him thinking that she would be naive and how he never saw Anakin for the first time, whatever the case may be. Okay, here's the thing. Palpatine and his reign to become Sidious was a slow burn. He had to do that because what he had to do, he had to remove the first chancellor from power. He had to make it be an idea of the people to announce him as chancellor and to give him ultimate power later on. That was something that he made. That's why Jar Jar Binks had to be the one to recommend that he had extended power, emergency power. Okay. He could have done that early on. He had to do everything as a slow burn. The thing was that he kept sending if you notice, the Jedi were not supposed to be commanders and generals in battle. They are protectors. So what he was doing was sending them out into be the generals of the army, and he kept putting them in different places, separating them, thinning them out, and forming a relationship with Anakin all the while because he needed to be able to allow the people to start to form their own opinion, which you fast forward to the Clone Wars when we had those episodes of Ahsoka, when she was like, and the people believed that the Jedi were the actual enemies. That was because Palpatine slow burned that to get them to the point. So that way, when Order 66 took place, the people were going to be on board because now they are against the Republic. They're against the Empire. They are against what we were trying to go. They tried to assassinate me. All of that stuff was a slow burn.
Right.
And he knew that those events were going to take place. So you cannot tell me that the way that Palpatine thinks with contingency plans upon contingency plans, that if this young girl who surprised him, which that was said in the book, then he came up with a contingency plan like, oh, well, let me put this young boy next to this young girl.
Once he saw the boy, that he worked that into his plans.
Or maybe he birthed the boy.
No, okay. So look, I'm going to address what you addressed. Palpatine, it says in the you talked about the book Master and Apprentice. Palpatine mentions in there, or it's mentioned in some form that he sees different outcomes. So there are different outcomes to the future. The future is not set in stone. So he sees different things, and he's making contingency plans based on one of the outcomes. Because go to Return of the Jedi, he dies on the Death Star. That was always a potential outcome if Luke doesn't turn. He had plans set up for what would happen if he died. He also had plans set up for what would happen if Luke Skywalker turned. So what I'm saying is like there's always multiple paths to the future. So Palpatine was the master at changing tactics and changing plans, right? Because he always had, like you said, different potentials for the different outcomes. So in my opinion, again, it's my opinion, he sees what Anakin can do, and he sees that, everyone can sense the issues with Anakin when they first meet him, all the Force sensitives, like when he talks with Yoda for the first time, and Yoda's like, he says, I'm cold, and Yoda says, I sense fear and I sense anger, and then he says, fear leads to anger, and blah, blah, blah. Palpatine can sense the same thing. So I think Padme surprises him, and he changes his plans, and he still works that whole situation out to work in his plan, right? But then he meets this boy, and obviously, I'm assuming he could sense the connection. He could see a connection there. And so he senses, the issues with Anakin. And so he says, I'm going to watch you. And that's when he starts like, hey, I'm going to work this into my plan. Because the only reason Padme continues, because Padme's basically done at that point, right? The only reason Padme continues and becomes the senator is because the next queen, the very first day, she's like, hey, what are you planning on doing? Padme was going to go help the slaves and stuff like that on Tatooine. That was her plan. And the queen's like, no, can you become my senator? Because we need a new senator now. And so she thinks about it and she accepts it. Like, I think that's when he works Anakin into his plan. Now,
Shane,
if they want to introduce the canon that Palpatine got his mom pregnant, using the Force, then I can agree with you. But they have not established in canon who his father is. And that's my thing. Like, it's a big leap to say that he's his father. Like, because at that point, the whole Skywalker saga becomes the Palpatine saga, because Palpatine wins no matter what. I know Rey's a Palpatine. So
Shane, 2 questions. Number 1, you introduced me to a canon graphic novel that showed
I did
the dream of Anakin's dream of him seeing that Palpatine forced impregnated her. That and again, we know that was a dream. So but at the same token, there is a reason that's there. You can't tell me that has no significance.
I totally forgot about that.
And again,
totally forgot about that.
That it's that because we saw that. And that's been a lot of talk on multiple platforms for people that do Star Wars. But my other question to you is this, and I know we gotta end this.
Right.
Let me ask you this question, right? Then why did he pick Padme? Because here's the thing, like we said, there were other candidates that he could have picked. Why did he pick?
He picked her. He picked Padme because while she wasn't the youngest queen ever, very little was known about her. She had no pre-political history. She was extremely young, and so he thought she would be easily manipulated. That's why he picked her. She was young, she was naive, no one knew anything about her, and he thought he would be able to manipulate her. When they
answer my question, why did
he just answered your question?
No, you didn't. No, you. Here's the thing. Everything you just said, you could have said that about any one of those other girls that were.
We don't know the history of those other girls. He may not have felt that they would be as easily manipulated.
But you and I know, right, that Palpatine does not do anything without a reason. So what I'm saying is, why was he so adamant? Why did he call the morning of to ask about her?
He called Panaka because him and Panaka were close. He had been working Panaka forever, and Panaka was assigned to her. So he called.
Panaka was assigned to. He was just going to be the chief security for whoever got elected.
Well, it says specifically in that book that Panaka before was planning on her.
He wanted her. Yeah, that's
right. But it doesn't say that he was planning on the other two either. I just walked you into something. So him and Panaka are good friends. No, you're not gonna say that him and Panaka were plotting together. No.
No. That wasn't what I was going to say. That's not what I was fixing to say. You already established that Palpatine knows the thoughts and sees things that other people can't see, right? We already established that, right?
Different
outcomes. Him and Panaka are good friends, which has been established in the book. Him and Panaka are good friends. And then he's asking about Padme, who Panaka wants to also be elected. So, but that's just pure coincidence. That's what you
didn't say. It was pure coincidence. I agree with you that he wanted Padme. I disagree with you that he impregnated what is her name? He
No, that's
impregnated Anakin's mom.
I'm not lingering on that as a point. I'm just saying you're the one that introduced me to the comic with that. That was just
Right.
just a sub
again. I had forgotten about that. And I have to go into if they actually established it. Now, Yoda down here is saying it's confirmed that Palps isn't Anakin's father by the creator of the comic.
Yeah.
I can't verify that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm just saying for Star Wars to allow that to be in the comic,
it's interesting.
That was a throwaway, like, oh, we just gonna throw this in there to make everybody speculate. I think that because again, we just found out that his boss, his teacher, the wise, Plagueis.
Yeah, Plagueis.
Plagueis's book has been not canon now.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna find out more. But anyway,
yeah, and that's my thing. I'll be quick. I think some of your arguments are correct. I think he wanted Padme there, but I think it was for different purposes. And then I think he pivoted when Padme turned out to be so much stronger than he expected.
Yeah.
Because Padme was always a thorn in his side in one way or another. Like, granted, he still used it to get where he wanted, but he had to change his plans with Padme. And, he had to work kind of around her sometimes. There's a reason they were still trying to kill her. In episodes.
I do agree that his plans might have changed, but I'm saying I still think that as things developed, that more of his like you said, he saw multiple outcomes.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is I think that was one of his outcomes. He was like Doctor Strange in that moment. That was one of the outcomes of, oh, well, if I don't get the Trade Federation, or if this girl some way destroys that plan, I'm gonna use her as a plot for Anakin. Like,
and I can get behind that but my thing is he starts plotting Anakin when he first meets Anakin, because they make it pretty clear. I mean, it seems, I just watched the movie and it seems to me like he sees him, there's interest. It doesn't, and I get
last question, I promise I'll let you. But here's the thing though, when they meet, right? If he created him, I'm just saying, just speculation. If he created him and they were meeting for the first time, why would he act like he knew him in front of the Jedi when he's concealing his identity as Sidious? That doesn't make sense for him to act like, oh, that's Anakin. I know him, man. I used to hang out with his mama.
Well,
that.
Well, I get that, Ace. I'm not saying he's going to walk up and say, hey, kid, how's it going? What I'm saying is if they establish that he's his father, I can get behind that. But to me, he didn't know Anakin until he finds out that he's the one that essentially ruined his entire plan by blowing up the droid mothership, right? And then he sees that and he's like, hey, there's this 10-year-old or 11-year-old boy that just blew up my entire plans, and now they're going to train him as a Jedi. I can work this into my strategy.
I think the whole Anakin thing with Padme, if you're talking about Palpatine setting up Padme for Anakin, I think Padme is just like Anakin was for Qui-Gon. He just felt, okay, there's something different about this kid. There's a future here that I don't know. I want to follow it. And so he pulls Anakin in. I think it's the same way with Palpatine and with Padme. I think with the whole thing that I said right before we started was he could sense he liked to sit in that future and knowing what future was going to happen, knowing that it's malleable, and he felt, okay, Padme has something to do with my future and how this is going to play out. So I'm going to go with this. And he's just having to change it as he goes until he gets to Anakin, and then maybe it clicks at that point. I don't know, but I think that's how it worked out, in my opinion.
I mean, I think he knew he could manipulate Anakin easily, and maybe he saw that he would be able to manipulate Padme with Anakin. I just feel like it didn't start until they met. I'm not saying your theory is crazy. I'm just saying I would need to see something in canon that confirms that he was aware of Anakin's presence. And whether that being him attempting to impregnate people, like, just give me something that shows that Palpatine was doing that. And then I could get more behind it.
Again, and I just feel like ultimately that that Palpatine has proven that he's all about, doing stuff in the background, like learning how to clone and coming up with his.
And he's having kids. We know that. We know that now from Episode 9.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that he would have something to do.
But if we were going to argue that, why wouldn't he use one of his own children? If he's having children that are force sensitive and they're out there, why wouldn't he put one of his own children in Padme's way? Like, why find some random boy on a planet and then orchestrate all the crap that had to happen for them to run into him?
But he didn't have kids until later on. I mean, his son was a clone. But
we don't. That's what I'm saying, though. They've established that he had kids. So why not? Why did he start later? Like, why wasn't he going? Why wasn't that part of his plan from the get go?
Because I don't think that having kids was necessarily really his goal. I think he was all about, again, his journey was to find in the art of cheating death. So my thing is that the cloning. That's where, like, we had the Clone Wars because he was cloning people, and then that was all a part of the whole plot, is what I'm saying.
I need to see where they go with Plagueis, because the Plagueis book set up so much that's now not canon. Like, I need to see where they're going to go with Plagueis, because what Plagueis does will play a huge part into Palpatine's forethought. You know, if they make Plagueis Anakin's father, then I could totally see Palpatine being aware of his existence and then orchestrating the events to get them on Tatooine. So I'm with you, kind of. I just want to see where they go with the lore. Because they, like you said, they decanonized Plagueis for a reason. They're going somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm done. And I'm curious to see where they go. It's a really interesting theory.
Well, no, I said, I just wanted us to have the conversation about it to get people to thinking. So
yeah, it's really interesting. You melted my mind with it.
Well, guys, that was awesome. Especially the last part. We were getting deep with that. Let's see that lightsaber one more last time before we close this out. I love it.
Ultra Sabers, if you want to sponsor us, you just give me a call. Okay.
Yep, we'll tag you in these.
Yeah, you just give me a call.
Yeah.
Anyways, love you guys. Thank you all for watching us.
It was a lot of fun.
We are here every Thursday, 7:30. And this is what we love to do, talk Star Wars. Join us next time. Drop in, throw some comments in, talk to us, throw some questions out there. We'll try to answer next time, whatever you want to do. We'll see you guys next time.
Be with you.
Thank you, guys.